an elite academy on a hill surrounded by slums. In this rundown shantytown, the Monkan-shok family happily eats home-cooked meals around a dinner table. Yeah, they pronounced it Monkan-shok in the dub, so I'm just gonna say it like that. Around them, the masses clamor to join the academy to rank up in society to become something more than their average existence. The best way to please the academy is through discipline, suppression of self-expression, and a complete, utter obedience to the system that promises you that special piece of paper that'll set you free. Clothes are power. Goku uniforms are bizarre items of clothing that allow any average Joe wearing it to ascend into something resembling a warrior. The higher the star count on a Goku uniform, the better it is. The more expensive it is. They say clothes make the man. In Kill la Kill, they make everyone. It's a really bizarre show. It's easily the weirdest anime I've ever seen. And it's all thanks to one man I met at a pizza shop named Ted.
God?
Granted, I haven't seen FLCL yet, so there's opportunities for anime to get weirder, but truth be told, Kill la Kill is weird. I like it though. Something about its unapologetic expression of its ideas is inspiring to me. It's at this point I'd like to tell you, there's gonna be spoilers. Beware! The rebellion against the oppressive system is called Nudist Beach. They pilot mechs with their butts hanging out, and one guy has his balls showing so often they put a bright light over them. And his nipples. And, well, that's his thing. The villain of this show is also clothes. Yeah. To achieve her goals, a 17-year-old named Ryuko Matoi has to deal with being basically naked to become the greatest warrior that no one ever was. Seems fan-servicey and unnecessary. If I didn't know any better, I'd say Kazuki Nakashima created the show out of horniness and sexual frustration. At least, that's what I thought at first. Kill la Kill hit me in ways I was not expecting. And not just in my pants!
What is it you're trying to tell me, Lord?
As utterly ridiculous as everything is, the characters are incredibly endearing. Ryuko has been adopted by the Monkan-shoku family since the death of her parents. In this little tribe, she finds peace amongst the chaos that will ensue. Her bubbly friend and now sister, Mako, is a constant source of motivation. Mako is the best cheerleader of all time. Mako's mother and father also are true parents to Ryuko, except when the dad's nose bleeds when he sees her naked. In this tight-knit family of peasants, love is abundant in a world fueled by shallowness. In society, clothes are central to everything, so much so they're tools for powerful transformations that often demand comfort in nakedness amidst a system that fuels progress with shame. Perhaps the biggest harbinger of shame is the Student Council Disciplinary Committee Chair, Ira Gamaguri. He's everything that fuels a hierarchy, determined, willing, and able to dole out punishments, and also feels shame very deeply. His first transformation in his Goku uniform is called Shackle Regalia. He dons bondage gear, including a mouth gag, then binds himself in tight ropes. It's pretty hot. With every wound, he gains strength, as though the guilty pain of punishment is what empowers him. If no one else attacks him, then Gamaguri will punish himself with a flurry of rope whips so he will build up the power to punish you. All this hot, dripping symbolism takes place in the grander context of slums surrounding the academy on a hill. Honoji Academy, a quintessential setting for an anime and a fitting one for a work of art that has a lot to say about society. Society, man, it's always trying to program us, telling us what to do, man! What to think, what to do, how to be! It's a real bummer. Have you ever wondered, how does it do that? How do buttons in our brain get pressed so deeply we suppress who we truly want to be in exchange for who society wants us to be? This is the story of Kill la Kill. The story you never knew. How important are you anyway? Are you lower class or is your bank account thriving? Everyone who ever pushed to accomplish anything has a desire for status to thank for at least some of their intentions. People like feeling better than people, and people like being wealthy. I don't know about you, but I'd rather have more money than less. Point is, Hanuji Academy is a microcosm for these egotistical desires that yell at us from inside our heads. Students are ranked from no stars to 3 stars. No star students aren't even allowed to wear Goku uniforms. Only ones and above can do that. Already, the hierarchy is clear. Before anyone evaluates you on who you are, they judge you by how you are ranked. And of course, how you are ranked has much to do with the family you were born into. Satsuki, being the daughter of the head of the Revox Corporation, is the top dog at the academy. Those who graduate at the top of their class have a hefty springboard into future wealth and status. Where do you fit into the hierarchy? Your clothes will tell you. Money will buy them. Would you agree that money makes the world go round? Surely you've heard the saying, money is the tool with which things get done, at least on large scales. Money is the ability to command people into action. Money is power. It's those sweet dollar bills or yen bills or whatever bills you use that also determine status. There's no better example in Kill la Kill than Kaneo Takarada, a minor character and a man who is so rich he doesn't hesitate to hire thousands of citizens to act violently on his behalf. They even shoot money out of guns he gives them. That sweet, sweet currency is bullets that bend reality to Takarada's will. This man is kind of a shithead. He's quick to anger, has a punchable face, and a personality molded by a lifetime of getting anything and everything cash can buy. It's funny. As awesome as being rich sounds, I don't envy a man like Kaneo. His arrogance and sniveliness are indicative of a mind that's been jumping from one cash-bought dopamine rush to another for a very long time. He is the spitting image of the pitfalls of materialism. He has it all, but his mind hardly seems like a pleasant place to be. His life lacks meaning. And yet, as arrogant and flamboyantly wealthy as Kaneo is, he's fighting the good fight. He is a loyal supporter of Nudist Beach, a loyal supporter of the organization which seeks to throw off the shackles in which clothes have locked civilization. Indeed, wealth does not necessitate evil. It's illogical to hate the rich for being rich. In episode 20, it's revealed that Kaneo has spent all his fortune on a gargantuan battleship called the SS Naked Sun. Just the sight of it leaving its dock makes him jump for joy. In that moment, there was true meaning. This man of an impressive bank account forsook his greed and created something that was more than just an expensive thing to flaunt. Expensive things get attention, and perhaps the best way to flaunt your wealth is in what you wear on your very being. Clothes. It's this idea that the fashion industry and its oligarchical overlords depend on. The height of beauty is revealed to the public, and it's yours to buy if you've got the money for designer brands. People will look at you differently wearing that $200 deep V from Anthropology. Otherwise, have fun shopping at Target, which, by the way, has some sweet graphic tees. Why not pay $10 to rep Pepsi? Anyway, you probably get the point. By the way, I'm Grant. I haven't introduced myself yet. If you thought I was gonna cosplay Ryuko just like I did with Madoka in my last video, you're sorely mistaken. This is the story you never knew, which means I'm probably gonna mix it up. Okay?
Okay, dude, I'm still listening. Don't mind me. Just got some stuff to do.
We're gonna talk about materialism.
Ooh, what's materialism?
It's the belief that the entire universe is made of nothing but matter. Atoms and energy, obeying the laws of physics, make up the entirety of reality, and there is nothing spiritual beyond what we can see and touch. No soul, no life after death. Just here for several decades, and then poof. But that's not the materialism I wanted to talk about. I'm talking about the other kind of materialism, a tendency to consider material possessions and physical comforts as more important than spiritual values. Not like God spiritual, but values that are personal or emotional, things that can't be quantified. They're still called spiritual because the upper echelon doesn't care about them, so we're stuck with a name that makes people turn away as if it's some hippie BS. But yeah, materialism. A society run by money and status that is projected through the clothes you can afford to wear, the house and car you can afford to buy. That's a materialistic society, and it's not far off from our globally interconnected super civilization that is emerging now in the 21st century, where once the mass production of goods and services took the backseat to everything else life has to offer, this cycle of producing and buying for pleasure and status is what rules today. The best parts about being human have not left us, but with a century of Western society's materialism spreading across the airwaves to every corner of everywhere, this shallow ideology is being considered by people with an Eastern perspective. So much so that Kill la Kill
Really?
hates it. Clothes are the villain of this show because the Revox Corporation owns 70% of all global fashion sales. Clothes are also intelligent beings from another planet that came here millennia ago and advanced the human race in part by making us ashamed to show our naked bodies. Yeah, it's pretty crazy stuff. The Adam and Eve throwbacks are everywhere. Quick crash course. In the Bible, A&E were the first innocent people loved by God until Eve was tempted by Satan to take the fateful bite of the golden apple from the tree of knowledge.
Women, am I right, Pope?
That was a no-no, considered original sin by the Gentiles and such. But when she took the bite, the first thing her and Adam did was adorn clothing to cover up their sinful naked bods. Well, they adorned fig leaves anyway. It was a start to clothing, the beginning of shame and the villain of Kill la Kill. Oddly enough, this theme of clothing being synonymous with shame is exactly how hierarchies maintain themselves. Remember the elite academy on a hill. Remember those who clamor to be at the top. In episode 7, when Ryuko finds out that by starting her own club, she will automatically be given stars, she decides to start the Fight Club.
Whoa, that's the first rule, dude!
Remember, stars determine a student's status, and therefore the more stars you have, the more luxury you are able to live in. Soon, Ryuko and her beloved adopted family rise through the social ranks of society, becoming legitimately wealthy thanks to Ryuko's victories upon victories. Soon enough, they become slaves to their materialistic desires. Whereas before, Ryuko's family had their happiest times eating fried mystery meat and chatting with one another, now the dinner table is empty and everyone is only concerned with wearing the finest clothes and eating the finest foods. This delusion comes to a head when Ryuko realizes what is happening and resigns as a member of the Fight Club. Mako, still deep in delusion, refuses to let her leave. That's when Satsuki gives Mako a 2-star uniform and tells Mako that if she can defeat Ryuko, she'll be able to keep the lifestyle to which she has become accustomed. At first, Ryuko defends herself, but upon realizing that her family is foaming at the mouth in hopes of Mako killing her, she leaves herself open to attack, taking a vicious beating until her dear friend comes to her senses. Our protagonist berates her family for such a betrayal. They apologize and go back to their simple, happy life in the slums. Once again, the conversation around the dinner table is vibrant, and the true meaning of life is understood. The allure of clothing almost ripped a family apart. And yet, an entire half of the planet is run by the school of thought which created the story of Adam and Eve. Clothing and the lack of it have been socially contentious for, ever. Remember Salem, Massachusetts? A couple of little girls go dancing in the woods and leave their bonnets at home, and bam! People are being burned at the stake and crushed under boulders. Don't forget your clothes, kids. Kind of a silly thing to die for, isn't it? Kind of a weird thing to be arrested for, too. You're not allowed to be naked in a place where other people can see you in America. It's considered shameful, disgusting, and even disturbing to be naturally you. To be the purest you. Ever think about how unnatural that is? How something invisible, intangible, and unbending like rules and laws can warp our perspective on the natural world? What's wrong with you or your body? Why would it make somebody scream or cry in a mall parking lot? Or make a pack of guys follow you around downtown Manhattan like starving wolves? Do you ever think about the concept of sex sells, or how that actually works? How about the concept of artificial scarcity? As a tool, clothing clothing fits two purposes. One, to protect us from our environment.
And two, so we don't get our poo-poo butts all over everything.
That's it. But socially, there is so much more. Most importantly, clothes hide our bodies, creating an instant mystery. Humans are nothing if not curious, and when you don't know what someone actually looks like, well, that'll pique some interest. It's partially why things like the prawn industry exist and thrive. It satiates a curiosity created through dress code. Clothing denormalizes our bodies while at the same time creating an objectivity out of them. Because we wear clothes, it creates the illusion of us wearing our bodies as well, stripping them of their integration with our consciousness as a whole and making them something to acquire for others. It's artificial scarcity. You can't see people's bodies because they're hidden. It makes you want to see more. But the clothes are always there. To add an additional societal weight onto an already negative aspect of our culture, clothing is used as a status symbol. What you wear, how it looks, where you got it, how much it costs, is all on Front Street all the time. It's a visual representation of your value to others as an object. Are you in a $10,000 Armani suit? Or a pair of bleached jean shorts from Goodwill? Which one do you think will gain you respect first? Let's ask Ida Gamaguri. At first, he showed us his shackle regalia, a powerful transformation which empowered him with shame and punishment. By the end, he unveils his final form. Shackle regalia persona unleashed. He is no longer wrapped tightly and gagged. He is shirtless, with spikes pointing outwards rather than the pain pointing inwards. His ultimate attack is unrestrained ego blast, a blast from his now thriving psyche which brings the threat of clothes to its knees.
So what you're saying is clothing hides our natural bodies, which turns things like boobies into objects of lust, while simultaneously perpetuating classism through instant visual stimulus, and continuing the cycle of materialistic desire to further our own destructive economic machine?
Yes. So I ask you, what was the true original sin? The bite of the apple or adorning the clothing? Was it knowledge or shame? I don't believe the two naturally go hand in hand. Let's look at Ryuko. Her senketsu is revealing, yes, but functionally sound. It keeps her poo butt from getting all over everything and holds the bazungas in place for combat. It's a tool and is used as such. So what's wrong with it if you strip away puritanical values? Sin is an immoral act considered to be a transgression against divine law. In that case, why would a god create a law which requires his creations to hide his artwork? Would God not be proud of his craftsmanship? And what if God's a woman or a genderless tree frog? In my eyes, the first sin was making that artwork socially abhorrent by covering it up with something far less divine. Brands, makeup, accessories, it's all just scare tactics to keep you spinning the consumerist wheel in order to make people who prey on your insecurities money. Lots and lots of money. They use a fear of your natural body that they perpetuate to drive a machine. Knowledge allows one to see sin, to avoid sin. Shame perpetuates sin and allows it to grow to the point where it controls the populace. If God is real, I doubt he or she would want us to be ashamed or afraid of what we were intended to look like, or to replace its art with superficial status indicators. That's the means by which society pushes our buttons, a carrot on a stick promising status, a mindset that makes us shuffle our feet forward with feelings of shame. That's the story of Kill La Kill. The story you never knew.
Man, I liked the show a lot more before you watched it.
Materialism, man, it's the worst! But really, what do you think about materialism? Let me know down below. Thanks so much to Ted for introducing me to Kill La Kill. We met at California Pizza Kitchen and both ordered cauliflower crust. It was E3 2019 and it was magical. Ted is a glorious cog in the machine of the Completionist. If you haven't heard of them, they're a channel that 100%s every game they play. They're more hardcore than you'll ever be. Isn't that right, Ted?
You know, I'm not just a cog in a machine. I'm a person too. I stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/loadingnew, and you can check me out on my socials. Instagram is t.coonz, tcoons, and Twitter is just tcoons. Catch you there. Back to you, Grant. Well, I guess this is the end of the video. You know what I learned today? That materialism is bad. What did you learn today? leave a comment below. And Grant might get to it, but I don't know. I don't think he's here anymore. Bye.
Bye, everyone.